just okay.
Start the show already.
Start the show already. Sheesh. How are you fine folks today? How's everybody doing today? Hope you're doing well. Let me see. We got Softly Spoken is here, and Faves, Robert Tower, and TK, Krusty Witch. Win the Fair. How are you, Tracy Spencer? Good morning. Good morning, Jackson. Oh, thank you so much, my friend. Good morning, Diane and Gary. Gary's here. Gary. Good morning. Good morning. And thank you so much. Let me see. Sarcastic is here and Crystal T. Good morning. Good morning, all of you. Let me see here. Let me try and fix that. Rick Friend is here. Patty Cakes. Good morning, you fine folks. Let me see here. Thank you so much. 5 gifted memberships. Thank you so much, Jack's mom. If you're one of those, thank Jack's mom. She works hard for her money, and we appreciate her very much. Much love. Thank you, my friend. Thank you, Jack's mom. Thank you. We're clown losers, but we try our best. Hi, Shirley. How are you, my friend? How are you? Renee's Retro Relics is here. Thank you. Hang on. I got to adjust something here. I don't like this. Hang on. I got to mute for a sec. Okay, I'm back. Let me see if everyone can hear. Okay. Is everyone there? Okay, hopefully that's a little better. Okay, Jay is at home. The turkeys of Omaha are safe. They are safe. The turkeys are home. They are safe. Good morning. Hi, Nancy. Hi, Nancy. How are you? Happy. How are you? Oh, I tell you, Denise Sells, Badger John, good morning. I saw Clark Stark was here. Clark Stark was here just a little bit ago. Chucky's here. Oh, my heart. At least I don't have to be at Greenie to watch Tuesday's stream now. Good morning to the future Ketchup. Future Ketchup. And Mediocre Jay and Chat. And yes, Ketchup will be joining me shortly. Of course, as always, hi, Kelly Rager, Lisa Raz, Michael, how are you? How are you, my friend? Lisa, how are you? Lisa Flea? What? Lisa Flea's? Dried gravy. That's funny. Hi, KY Amy, how are you? Good morning. How are you, my friend? How are you? Big Dirtifications here. How are you? Good morning to all of you fine folks. I tell you what, I was a little surprised. It turns out that Megan Fox and Doug were so upset that they were going to be written out of season 7 that they decided to do, well, they decided to make a grand entrance to season 7, and boy did they. Hi, Fru and Jen Thunder, Texas Sun Gal. Oh, and boy did they, because Fleabag, boy did she go nuts last night. She just went nuts. And we're going to cover just a little bit of that today before we move back to our Daryl Brooks coverage, of course. Hi, Bearded Man Steve. How are you? Gracia. Good morning, Gracia. French Psycho. Good morning. Good morning, my friend. How are you? You guys are all so wonderful. Thank you for the 100 of you that are already here. Sherry64. Hello, I'm glad you got a gifted membership. Little Miss Muppet is here. How are you? I hope you're feeling well, Little Miss Muppet. Carol Madsen, good morning to you. Mr. Landfill, we want ketchup. We want Ketchup. Ketchup will be here. By the way, Clark, I know I got some messages from you and others. I think Rickle sent me some stuff. I am so far behind on emails and messages. I will get to them. I think I got a quick preview of yours, Clark. It should be fun for tomorrow. Tomorrow should be a very fun show, especially after Fleabag show tonight. I'm sure she's going to go nuts. I got a quick preview of what you sent me there, Clark. I just haven't had a chance to respond. I have an overloaded email box and messenger box right now, but I will catch up. Also, I got a whole host of packages in the mail today that I haven't gotten through yet. I haven't even got a chance to open them up. I got home to them today, so I'll get to that. So yeah, just a little behind. I'm sorry. But no, I will get to that. Thank you so much. Hi, Metal Mom. How are you? And Sherry, 64. We have a winter storm warning. We're expecting 6 to 8 inches of snow today. Clark says, it's cool, brother. There's a great one in there. I got just a quick preview. But yes, it looks wonderful. I'm excited, and I'll be adding it all to tomorrow morning's show, of course. So we will be doing that. Stacy Schmidt is here. Hi, Stacy. How are you? Oh, wait, we have someone new here today. Let me see who's here.
Clicking cap off. Welcome to the master. I'm your daily dose of you won't ever guess. Dripping on the timeline, spicy ever take. I season the bin and neck, serve it on a plate. This is ketchup commentary, tangy kind of daddy. Sweet with the sting when the flakes get sway. Feisty on the mic, every word got bite. If you came for mile, you won't ask tonight. Yeah.
Rubbing napkin, babe, this is about to get red. Name in your mouth, I'll live in your hand.
Laughing, babe, it's about to get red. Flame in your mouth, I'll live in your hand.
Well, hello, Ketchup. How are you today?
I'm good, Jay. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. I'm doing great. Hi, Tim Allen. How are you? I saw our friend was over in Megan Fox's chat last night.
Oh, Jim?
Oh, yeah, Jim. Yeah, speak and spell Jim.
Yeah, I was too disgusted last night to play around with Jim. So I just ignored him.
Well, yeah, they were going a little crazy last night. I'll pull that up here. Give me just a second here.
Morning, everybody.
And yes, good morning, everybody. More people coming in. I see Rob just came in. And, who did I miss there? Laura. Laura is here. Hi, Laura.
Oh, good. Dragon's Gravy invited Jim to bingo this week.
Oh, nice.
That's awesome.
Well, he was over on the Fleabags little thing there. Let's take a quick look. We'll see how that went. Probably not well, but we'll pull it up because I got time. Let me make it a little bigger here. These are just her actual posts. All right, well, let's see what she says. Hi, Bill. How are you? How are you in Redzilla? Good morning to you. Don't forget. It's Tammy J's birthday. Again? Hi, Maria P. How are you, my friend? I invited Tammy J to come over to the show because, we don't interrupt people here like they do. I don't have squat pump over here. That's always a positive. I did want to correct the record, for Megan Fox last night. Hi, Sue. How are you? I haven't seen you in a hot minute. Sue, maybe I've missed you, but I haven't seen you in a hot minute. Hi, MQSSS. How are you, my friend? Patty, good morning. No, Slofer's mom said that he was volunteering. And I do know this, not for fact, but based on, as a Fleabag aficionado who's listened to all of their shows, all right, every second, every minute, every bit of it. I'm fairly certain Slofer had mentioned that he had gotten paid by Slobby. Actually, should I call him? I don't want to call him anything inappropriate. I think he goes by Royal Penis Head.
That's what I heard. That's what it said in the police report.
Yeah, I wanted to be appropriate. I didn't want Victoria to think I wasn't being appropriate. So I guess he goes like, because, you know, they were really mad about the Slofer thing, but I guess Mr. Penis Head or Royal Penis Head is the appropriate name to not get yelled at, I guess. Hi, Greg. How are you, Greg Scotland? So I guess I want to be appropriate. Hi, C girl. Good morning to you, my friend. But yeah, I wanted to be appropriate because that's what she said. And so allegedly, all right, according to, once again, this would be according to the police report and the body cam footage. All right, now Megan Fox clearly was very jealous. Just J-Hip had gotten a lot of coverage over on the Fleabag show, and she wasn't mentioned enough. So, of course, she decided to just go off the cuff last night. Hi, Farron, how are you? And well, that didn't go well because look, 2 leaves in a pod. Did you use the term royal? You need to say it more like his royal penis head. I'm just trying to be respectful, like his grandmother. That's all I'm doing. Okay, you know, I saw a quote in the chat. Somebody said that just J-Hip was extremely disrespectful the other day. What was that about?
Yeah, some chick named Patty. I think she was trying to get Fleabag fired up or something because that never happened.
Yeah, I'm like I'm like the nice guy. All right, I was nice to Tammy, and it's part of Fleabag's shtick though over there, pretending we're not besties. You know, saving lives, and then you also have to remember, you know, Slofer was missing for a good period of time. Okay.
Yeah, and that is not funny at all. I mean, he could have gotten into a car to take a ride from someone. He could have been severely hurt. He could have been hit by a car. So many things could have happened. It's very scary.
Yeah. Hey, SMY Do 54. How are you? Good morning. Well, and then the other side of that is I had the foresight to make sure I sent Clark Stark down there to hunt around and do a lot of the work. Now, he was missing for such a long time. My understanding is in the time he was missing, he was able to, you know, get a job as like a sous chef or something at a restaurant, or I don't know, something. He gathered a job, something John Crook's never been able to do. And as far as well, yes, but in the short time he was missing, he was able to grab a job. All right, that's always impressive, you know, and he is safe. You know, he was safe. He had a job. He was working on a new residence. Hi, Colleen.
Yeah, thank God nothing happened and he was safe and his mom finally found out because I feel so bad for his mom. That's the worst feeling you could ever possibly imagine.
Hi,
when it comes to your kids, you know?
Oh, yeah. And, you know, the funny thing is, when all of this was going on, the Fleabags were doing a show. Now, do you want to know what their main topic of conversation was?
Oh, probably something really important, right?
Really important. Hi, Bingo T. It was really important. They were discussing Stacey Nat and how Stacey Nat, hi, Johnny Veteran, how Stacey Nat had a guess because at the time she had still been a moderator and then she left, but she had snuck in and possibly blocked a whole bunch of Fleabag's members. All right, this was important to Fleabag that night, was bashing all over Stacey, Nat, and Flutta. All right.
Was that the same night that she thought Stacey was going back in the old StreamYard links?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. And so getting away from the fleas was awesome for him. It was. Nobody needs to be around that. Mel? Nobody.
Yeah, I just wish he would have waited for his mom to get there.
Yeah.
Or like walked to the closest gas station from Fleabag's house and then waited for his mom or McDonald's or something.
Oh, definitely, definitely. Thank you, Mel Clump. Thank you, my friend.
Well, and then, oh, sorry.
Go ahead. Sorry.
My bad. My bad.
No, thank you for the 2 Mel Clump. It was awesome because no, these people brought him into a thing. All right. His grandmother took him down there to hang out with Terrible Fleabag for their fraud raising thing that they were doing allegedly. And then, of course, they decided to put him live on stream. I don't know that his mom agreed to this, but of course, what happened then? He called Jeremy Hales a PDF file. All right. This is what happens when you don't think things through and you just let anything happen. But I will give Slobby some credit, not much, because everyone knows I'm not a huge fan of Slobby. But of course, he actually was reaching out to the kid and attempting, or well, the young adult.
Yeah, but he wasn't out looking that night either.
No.
He was on stream with them, and Gabe was sleeping.
Yes, yeah, he was on stream with them too. So
was Tori on that stream that night? Because Fleabag was saying she went home, so I didn't think she was on the stream. But
I think earlier in the afternoon she was on her own live stream, but I don't want to say that for sure. I don't want to tell any tells out of school because I don't know.
Yeah.
But I believe she might have had her own stream earlier, and then the Fleabags went on because it was a Tuesday, and Fleabags was doing Tuesday tidbits. Very important show. Much more important than finding, Topher. Very much more important than that. Because they really had to make sure they got on and attacked Stacey Nat. That was more important.
Well, and they had to talk about Bret Michaels.
Oh yeah, and Bret Michaels. Yes, that was important too. That terrible Bret Michaels. But she says maliciously posting private information about a 19-year-old disabled child while defaming people is not okay because it's public record. You're harassing and defaming and will be held accountable. Doxing a kid's phone number? Really, Megan? You spun an entire story and you are full of shit. That's what she said. Hey, Yamaha's here. Hi, Yamaha.
Hey, Yamaha.
Yeah, public records are not harassing, defamation. You have a problem? Take it up with the legislator and SCSO morale. Let's see how far that gets you. Yeah, it is called, actually, I looked at Grok and it said, in practice, the police department's FOIA Public Records Office bears ultimate responsibility for ensuring compliant redactions before release. If redactions are disputed, requesters can often appeal to the agency, state attorney general, or courts. That's who's responsible. Yeah. So there is that. But hang on.
Well, and then Tori's saying last night on her stream, like, oh, well, nobody knows where I was that night because we didn't make it public. You couldn't tell your daughter where you were going? You had to keep it secret? No, she said you went home. You went home. That's what she said.
Oh, yeah. And it was, sorry, I got a little distracted. I saw I had a message midstream, but it was something I haven't got to yet. But I pray I can get to today. But yes, Yamaha, very true. And also, hi. Oh, look who's here. Denise Melanoff.
Hey, Denise.
And Crazy Lady's here. Hi. Hey, Crazy Lady. How are you? Oh, I always like it when Denise Melanoff is here. Hi, Mama Pam. How are you, Mama Pam? Hi, my friend.
We're collecting Denise's over here.
I know we got the most amount of Denises of any channel on planet Earth.
Pretty cool.
Well, it goes on from there. So, Countess Ah says, "Why is no one mad that the caretaker and other adults in the house let the child leave? Was no one looking after him? Did you all go looking for him? Who was looking out for the child when this happened?" Oh, Fleabag's going to respond. You! Oh, are you an absolute idiot to believe what you say? Oh, the Muppet Pig. LOL figures. Megan has just ruined herself tonight. You want to speculate Hell Saga? Go again. But going after a 19-year-old child, a young adult, doxing his name, address, and phone number for contact? She is a sick individual and will be held accountable. Harassment, stalking, maliciously has been well beyond proven here. I hope in the end her hubby is so proud because of all she has done to their lives, all for hells, who will never take up for her in exchange. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, it's a whole bunch of stupid. Megan didn't make up anything. She
Yes.
let the video speak for itself.
Now, my understanding is Slavi's wife now works for Sumner County. Now, isn't she supposed to? Is she the one who's in charge of the redacting, allegedly, or possibly?
I don't know. I know she works there. I don't know what her actual job is.
I mean, because if she is, well, I know Redzilla. I don't know how old he was. I think 19. I think around the same age. I don't know for sure, though, Redzilla. Hi, my four sons. How are you? But now they're threatening to sue Megan Fox again with their $0 and zero lawyers and zero ability to do anything. Now apparently they're going to sue Megan Fox, or they're going to take her down. And not only that, Tug's going down too. Tug.
Oh, of course he is.
Oh, Fleabag, on your little show there, I do want to inform you that people like Megan Fox and Tug are not worried about you. Okay, I mean, I hate to burst your bubble, right? But they're not. Now, of course, a little bit says how sick. And then look, we got a new member, a famous member that we're used to, and that would be Jim, the Speak and Spell moron, who entered our chat. Hi, Kim Dodds, who entered our chat on People Watch. He says, "Time to get there, YouTube." Wait, over there? Over where? Oh, he might have meant there, like they are, like their YouTube,
right?
Like the thing that they own, like THEIR YouTube. Shut down and have legal look into it. Jim, could you fix your speak and spell, please? All right. I can try and raise more money, all right, for batteries for the speak and spell. It's not working so far. You're gonna have to try harder, Jim. It's moron.
Oh, Jim, we really went all out to help you.
Well, yeah, it's not Megan's fault. The sheriff's records department, who didn't redact the sensitive information, it's not her fault. No,
and she tried to cut off whatever started playing.
Yep, and on top of that, it's a public record. First off, second off, it wasn't done maliciously. She was sharing it and even said, "I'm going to try and skip over whatever's not redacted," because apparently they didn't redact anything at all. All right. Other than a few people's faces or something. I mean, they didn't do anything. So apparently, Sumter County Sheriff's Department, who's ever in charge of redacting stuff, apparently they don't like Fleabag or they don't like Topher. It's one of the two, but they allowed this to go out. That's on them. That's on them. Maybe they should care more. But of course, Bonnie, dumb Bonnie's going to pop in. I so agree. Stay safe. Love and hugs. By the way, this chat is protected and do not share my chat, of course. All right, because this is all private use chat here that I'm sharing. All right, so dumb Bonnie pops in, of course. And, oh, Starbucks comes in. So it's okay to do to others, but she had a problem when anyone mentions her husband or children. Pop me cuddle.
Mm-hmm.
I was working on other stuff and it popped up. Jay haunts me. Works that a coonhound ping on my leg. Well, I work that a coonhound ping on your leg. Yama, once again.
Maybe he was reading Where the Red Fern Grows.
So now Yamaha, who hangs out with Jim, because Yamaha and Jim are best friends, apparently. It's worse than damn Taiwanese. Jim. Jim and Yamaha sitting in a tree. KISLTPROW, because they can't spell.
Your mic keeps cutting out when you're laughing.
Sorry.
It's okay. I just wanted you to know.
Oh,
We gotta get Jim hooked on phonics. The speak and spell ain't cutting it.
I know. Well, Scampy Girl comes in. She has an angry face. She's very upset and angry looking. And Tulise comes back and says, yeah, Tug, show her the post, jackass. Doxing a 19-year-old? No, B. You're supposed to redact. Megan, you're a lying loser. You know damn well you're supposed to redact info. YouTube does not allow doxing. Let's see what YouTube has to say about your video now. Good luck with that. Get ready, mug. Hashtag another moron. Well, I better check on this one. Hashtag. Oh. Sorry, that didn't take me anywhere. So not much to see right now. I tried to check on the hashtag. It didn't really take us anywhere. But we tried. Let me see where we were.
Remember when you and Star used to do that to all of Richard Dickey's posts? That was hilarious.
That's why I wanted to do the same thing. I was like, oh yeah, I remember this. Good time. We'll click on that hashtag. That's always good. Dreamweaver pops in. Funny how she made sure not show here your address, Tori's phone, or any other personal info, but let his complete phone number out there for the world to hear. The world's now listening to Megan Fox. Megan, you're going to get a lot more subs now because the world is listening. While 100% telling people how he's just like a child. Wow, not okay. Definitely not okay, says Crazy Lady. Lisa, look for an email from me ASAP. You want to see this. I can't watch them. They make me sick. Oh, how gross, says Benita. Benita says, oh, this is not okay. No matter what she's trying to prove, using a special needs child who's under a stressful situation to attack, harass others is not okay. Yeah, okay, so back to Fleabag here, though. All right, what she had to say. All right. Yeah. Oh, YouTube's not allowed doxing. Let's see what YouTube has to say about your video tonight. Good luck. You ready, mug? Another moron. Stuck in my home. Wait for the real bombshell. It's coming. Authorities have now been called and they told me to completely F off. Reported to YouTube. Using children to grift is exactly what you are doing, you twisted freak. Using children to grift. Yeah, no, I've seen you do this. In fact, quite frankly, you were able to raise enough money to put a child into poverty. In fact, your project money is about to put a kid in the projects. All right? Yeah, okay. You're the one to talk. Oh boy, shame on you. Lies upon lies upon lies. It is 100% harassment and stalking. It's malicious. Public records are not to be used in this way. There's a huge difference, dumb twit. No one doxed your kids. What? No, Ketchup did. Her friend.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's her buddy.
And showed a picture of Megan's house.
Yeah. And then don't forget the revenge prawn. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Well.
More than one time.
Yeah. And don't forget also his disgusting father, Richard A. Lussman Sr., the biggest piece of crap in the world outside of his son.
Mm-hmm. And on more than one channel.
Yes. Terrible people. Public records are not to be used in this way. There's a huge difference. Dumb twit. No one doxed your kids. Ever prove it, you lie. And don't talk about everyone. Show me I did it. Show me Tori did it, you freak. You are such a liar. Strikes. I don't know what that means. Look up public records and what you can and cannot do with them. You do anything you want with them. They're public records. Okay?
Yeah. Otherwise, they wouldn't let you have them.
It's called public. It's not her job to go out and, do all this stuff. I go out and do all the redacting for them. She tried, but you know what? You're going to miss stuff. Hi, Hey Joe. How are you? Hey Joe.
It's called the Freedom of Information Act.
Yeah.
Hello.
It's pretty insane. Well, then she says, oh, and that includes mugshots, idiots. Well, shit.
Where does she get this shit?
Oh, idiots is trending. It's not any of us though, but idiots is trending. So we did. So okay, we got that. So that's pretty good. You will find out Topher's not an adult. You tried your hardest. Laughing my head off. You will wish you tried harder. Yeah, probably.
So Topher's not 19?
I guess not. Lisa, please correct me if I'm wrong, but even in a public report, did they not redact anything regarding children, their information? Megan made it clear that he has disabilities, which would make him like a child. It'd be almost like a felon, but he just looks like a felon. I pray the authorities deal with Megan and Tuck. Please tell Tori and family I'm sending lots of love and support and prayers their way. Thank you, hon. Crazy later. Children are always off limits, and Megan just opened up Pandora's box. A special needs child brings so many more consequences when you go there, Tori. We'll hand then their ass on a platter. I am beyond pissed off with all the BS Megan and others spew. Well, of course, Fleabag has played back in.
Mm-hmm.
If you're posing anything on YouTube, you must redact personal information, including phone numbers, emails, addresses, including legal paperwork like court filings. She knows this. She didn't do it. She did more than dox a kid's phone number. She bets nothing. It is a lazy ass. She was never doxed or doxed by me, nor were her kids. By me or Tori. She's a liar. And I demand. She demands now.
I'm sure Megan will be getting all over that.
Trust, she will be bitching when she finds out how this will legally be handled by my legal amount of zero legally people. Well, of course, Carrie pops in, the hellacious one. Lisa, I'm going to email you something you should see. Watch for an email from me coming within 5 minutes ish. You will want to see this. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Apparently, it wasn't that important. She posted. No one pretended an incident wasn't real. I was talking about Stacy Nat. It was a very important conversation. It was real. It happened. See, that was going on. We had to deal with that. I second nuts and Ken Smalley. Yeah, I know Ken. Yeah, I remember. I wonder if the flea remembers a little thing called the phone. Yeah, that's the thing. What you are telling people are lies. You have no idea what you're talking about. And no one is telling people to report you. I said I did. But hey, if people feel you need to be reported, by all means, it's a free world. Don't act like you give a shit about Topher. Topher loves his grandmother. Yes, little royal penis head. Well, vice versa. You are behind a lying scammer for content. You having an alert on my address is beyond effed up. You are malicious and stalking 100%. Your dumbass post of what I said was regarding a FOIA of the investigation. Ohio court, you dumbuzz, idiot. What's a dumbuzz?
I have no clue.
Oh, it's probably like a rumbuzz. It's like the little vacuum cleaner things or something.
Maybe.
Yeah, you dumbuzz idiot. As always, set your chick. Stop your lies. You are not a reporter. You are a super grifter. Oh, she spelled that wrong. Friend. Yeah, super grifter friend. Well, that's nice, Megan. You're a grifter friend. Oh, she might have meant fiend, but I think she meant to put in friend. That would make sense to me. If you know what I'm talking about.
Right. Look at Jim.
Yeah. Lisa, Slobby. Time to go, lawyer. Get their YouTube. Actually, their YouTube shut down and bring them into lawsuit. Their YouTube, THERE. Yeah, doesn't make sense there, Jim. You might want to work on that. Once again, lack of speaking spell. Oh, boy. Kathy, I agree with you. Marla Huge. Beyond living. I just have no words at this point. You always have words, you fat bitch. You always have words. What are you talking about? I've never seen a woman without words before. She never has words. Yeah, right. Oh, well, Patriot, Nana of 2. Lisa, my God, when will they stop? I'm praying all involved in harassing, stalking, doxing, anything else, pay a hefty price. This is to the point of being scary. I'm also praying all of you put through this are protected. Poor Topher. Go live, says Linda. Go live. Just saw this. Sorry. Okay. Oh, Present Compassion pops in. The heat already started for them. It just turned up from simmer to high. So high, they learned from their psychotic master cult leader, the tongue tool of SuTube. Beware of getting sued by the tongue of thinking thoughts and expressing those thoughts about the tongue's very public statements. Okay. I have no idea what this dude's talking about.
Me neither.
But pretty dramatic night over there for the Fleabags. You know what? I better solid. Yeah, see, Fleabag and Tammy J. Can you point this out? I gave her a likey. I gave her a likey on her thing. Hang on. I'll give her a couple of likes.
Don't give her any likies.
You gotta make me take my like. Tell you what.
Yeah.
Can
Would you please?
Can I give Jim a likey, though?
Fine. You can give Jim a likey, but you gotta take hers off.
I took hers off and I gave Jim a likey.
Okay. Get hooked on phonics, Jim. We would have helped you, but we're cutting you off.
Milk Club says, today's a good day to be Jay. Ketchup is cool. Today is a good day to be Jay. Ketchup is cool. Thank you
Thanks, Mo.
Thank you. Let me see what I can do for that. Let me see if I can find my harmonica. That was pretty good. Thank you, Mel. Thank you for the 2. And Bradley the Slaw says, gifted time to stay up memberships. Thank you, D. Wayne. Thank you, my friend. If you get one of those things, D. Wayne, he works hard for his money. And we appreciate D. Wayne. If you get one of those, give him a nice, gentle hug or, a little tap on the backside, whatever you feel comfortable with. Thank you so much and welcome to the Clown Loser Show. All right, it's weird in here, but you'll be used to it. Thank you, D. Wayne. And Rick Friend says, morning, happy Taco Tuesday. Oh, it is Tuesday. I forgot about that. Thank you, Rick, my friend. How are you? Thank you so much for the 2. I tell you what. Thank you, D. Wayne. Thank you, Rick. I tell you what, the addition of the harmonica has been pretty good.
I do like it better than.
I mean, everyone loves.
I do. I like the bell, but because it's funny as hell. But there's something different about the harmonica. I don't know.
It's a little bit more peaceful in the morning, especially.
And you sucked at the bell. So if Star wasn't here, the bell just wasn't good.
Yeah. I mean, the Star bell was always amazing, but the J bell always sucks. So the addition of the harmonica, thank you, Rugu Mama, was important. We need to start a new grift to raise funds to buy just Jay a piccolo. Ooh, piccolo.
You guys want to buy him an actual shitty flute?
Laura says the cowbell sucked. Well, you know what? It kind of depends on who you are. I want to remind everybody, all right, there are very large channels that use the cowbell as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, instance, Credence and Mikey, We Gotta Chase. They don't just use a cowbell. They do sirens and all.
Yeah, and they have music blasting.
It is really loud, and it is far beyond what we do. Or
and they do a train whistle at the same time as the siren, the music, and the cowbell.
Yes, and they have a huge channel, much bigger than the little Just J Hip show. But anyways, yeah, I mean, Kim Dot says, love the harmonica, but it is a little bit more quieter in the mornings. Oh, Crystal T says she wants an air horn.
Oh, gosh. Please no.
It's okay. I'm okay, even if I'm white and not green. Enjoy your show, Jay. Mostly. Rosie T. I'm sorry you're not green. Oh, wait. Stacy says, me too. Jay, your little kumbaya session with that moron Gingras was bad enough, but you, sir, have crossed the line. Thumbs up That's it. I'm hitting the Taco Bell in your porch. She'll rule the day. Sorry, Yamaha, what'd I do? I thought we were friends. I saw Yamaha had a new photo out there. What's going on with Yamaha? You didn't see his new photo?
Sure didn't.
Yeah, I don't know if I can find it. Was that on Rosalind Duke? Did she make that?
I'm not sure what photo you're speaking of.
Well, no, somebody did a post or something. No, it wasn't her. Maybe it was. Was it Rugu Mama possibly? I'll see if I can find it fast. And then we're gonna hop into Daryl Brooks. But anyways, the Fleabags were doing their own thing. It was interesting. They were very, very upset with this Megan Fox, and I'm not gonna lie. Everyone, don't you dare! I don't know what it is, but don't. Don't you force my hand, my friend. You should be nicer, Yama. You should be nicer. But
Well,
no.
they seem more upset about the fact that everyone found out about what happened than on the day that it happened. Like,
Oh yeah.
Where was the support for his mom? Why wasn't everybody out looking? I just that part I just don't understand it. And if that happened to anybody over on this side, like Tug or Megan or Jeremy or anybody over here, they would be telling everyone about it.
Oh
if
yeah.
It happened to anybody over here.
Well, and it's no different than even with just J Hip. You got to remember, just J Hip went missing, and what happened? Everybody went nuts, because J Hip wasn't around. Oh wait, hang on, I did find it. Oh boy, I don't know. I don't know what's going on here with this Yamaha guy. Make it bigger.
I'm not responsible, Yamaha.
Well, yes.
This is 100% just J Hip.
Oh look, Yamaha! He's doing some swimming out there. He's doing some swimming. His Yamaha. He's got his little floaty there.
Looking good. Your legs are becoming part of the tube, but looking good.
Yeah. He fitted his legs into the tube. Now that's always a smart move, Yamaha. That's a good move. And as you can see, he's really. Is Jim really only me? I don't know. The thing is, this is funny. I know only me gets under Tug's skin. Well, I wouldn't even say under skin, but because he emailed Tug 100 million times wanting help or clarity, and then he goes back and forth and over again. So I get it. But with me, only me is not a thing to me. All right. It's like a whatever. All right. Go give him another 56K. I could give 2 flying crabs. All right. I really don't care. Okay, guys.
Yeah.
To go. Be good and have the day that you deserve. Oh man, okay. That's you have a good day, my friend. You have a good day. That's how I was trained to do beach landings. Oh, good. I did see this Yamaha is a smart guy. This Yamaha is a smart guy.
Have a good day, Redzilla.
Yeah, have a good day, Redzilla. Come back, and check us out later or finish up the stream, my friend. Robert, I used to have a rat named Bendover. All right. Well, anyways, that was the story of the night. Fleabag had a meltdown and whatever. It's what they do. Now, I'm assuming tonight they're probably going to have one hell of a show, and I'm assuming that tomorrow just J-Hip will have one hell of a show because, well, I'll be doing my flea cap tomorrow of their very, very terrible show. All right, that they do. All right, but I have to remind you, I like their show. It's one of my favorites, but I also like terrible stuff. in my life. One of my
Yeah, you do.
yes, yes. You know, one of my favorite movies is Deep Blue Sea with Samuel L. Jackson. Okay. Mhm.
So I'm
With
I'm guessing you liked Waterworld too.
oh, Waterworld was a good one. I loved Waterworld. That was a good one.
Remind me to never go to a movie with you ever.
Waterworld was a good one. Waterworld was a good one. What is a flea cap says? I'm a gifter. I'm a gifter. A flea cap. Well, just to pop into this, okay. I do cover the What the Hell's case, Jeremy Hales' case, 3 days a week. The flea bags, all
Well, you
right.
don't really do the case. You
No,
cover the stupid.
I cover the anti what the hell's ecosystem of felons, frauds, and fools. Now, two leads in the pod that we would call, all right, two fleas and some fraud. All right, they do a show 4 times a week, and I recap or flea cap their show. All right, so instead of people going over to watch their show for 4 hours hating on Jeremy Hales, I covered in about 22 minutes. All right. I give you all the sound effects. I do all the voices. I do all the things. It's fun. It's a flea cap of the flea bags, but you'd have to be following the Jeremy Hales case. And once in a while, I try and do a little TLDR to get people caught up. So if you need one, let me know and I'll give you one. Not today, though, because today we're moving on to Gerald Parks. Mind you, also, it is already 8:54. All right. Coop goes on at 10 o'clock. I do not hold it against anybody to go over and watch Mr. Coop. Of course, I suggested. I'm sure he's going to have a wonderful show on What the Hell's. Okay. I usually go a slight bit longer when I do Daryl Brooks. It's different material. Okay. I will check it out. Yes, I need one. All right. Yes, I will give one actually tomorrow morning. I will do in the very beginning of my show tomorrow at 8. I will give you a quick TLDR just so you can get an idea of everything. And yes, I will do that for you. All right, I'm a gifter. Okay. So yeah, I will do that. I will do that. And I appreciate you being here. I always like a new friend who's not familiar with that particular case that we are covering. And once again, I don't cover court documents over here. I cover Jeremy Hales, nice guy. All right. He seems like a good chap. He's a friend. All right. And also, I cover the anti Jeremy Hales ecosystem of frauds and fools, felons. All right. So, but I'll give you a TLDR tomorrow in probably under 4 minutes. I think I can catch you up best I can. All right. Now we got Judge Darrell back here, and she's going to give her reactions to Daryl Brooks. And this would be the sentencing that's coming up here. Waterworld gave smokers a bad name. Well, no, that's true. You're right, Kim. Actually, on that one, you are right. They did do that. Now that I think about it, you're very right. Let me turn up the volume here. Here we go.
SUV flying down the road, heard thuds. It was faster than anyone in their right mind would be going. He estimated it to be over 25 miles per hour. And then Lucas Hallmark, the off-duty police officer who was walking with his family on that day. He talked about the commotion behind, the large amount of screaming. You could feel it was palpable when he testified about having the wherewithal to try to get his kids out of the way, throwing his 3-year-old as far as he could out of the way. You could see the pain on his face when he talked about not being that successful with his 7-year-old. He said, I wasn't quick enough. He testified that he thought this was a terrorist act, that SUV did not stop. I referenced the speed already. The ACE speed estimation from Detective Carpenter, 33 to 34 miles per hour, a little bit more than that. The speed calculation by Michael Smith from State Patrol from farther down the route of averaging 32 miles per hour. And then, of course, the vehicle inspection by the State Patrol, finding no mechanical issues. There was also the Franklin Assistant Chief who attended the parade. He was near West Main Street in Maple. He provided the testimony regarding the SUV, the window being open, and the driver sticking his head out, looking out. He testified how he thought perhaps it was either a medical emergency, maybe even a mechanical issue, but it was clear once that SUV passed him and he saw that driver. He saw you, Mr. Brooks. No panic, no distress. His heart sank. He knew it was not a medical emergency. The body language just didn't fit. It did not believe it was mechanical at that point either. And then he saw the vehicle crank to the right. As he testified, he seemed excited about what he had done. Another off-duty police officer, this one from Wauwatosa, talked about how he saw Mr. Brooks after the fact crash the vehicle, hear him yell out an expletive and run southbound with his sweatshirt still on. We all saw that video. Of course, at one point, Officer Skolton had contact. And as he testified, he put things together. Keep in mind all of the radio traffic, right? About one person, then like 15 people and another 15. It was very apparent to him that although he was on the far end, he was around the dogleg on Wisconsin and Maine, that a vehicle had driven through the parade. He saw this vehicle. Of course, at that point, it was heavily damaged. He made the decision to use deadly force. What did he do after? What did Darrell Brooks do after? We crashed the vehicle. He fled the scene in a hurry. He changed his appearance, took off his sweatshirt, loses his shoes, I think in a hurry to get out of there, not caring that they...
I'll be right back, Ketchup.
Okay.
Okay, I'll let this play. I know where it's going.
Okay.
had fallen off. He puts his hair up. We saw that on a number of videos. He asked unsuspecting people to use their phone to call an Uber, all within minutes of all of this happening. He was in such a hurry to get out of there. He left his phone in the SUV. He calls his mother, who arranges for an Uber. We heard from the Uber driver. He never showed up. It was nearby, ultimately, where he was found. And then, of course, the ring footage of his contact with Daniel Ryder. That is at 5:01 p.m. Minutes after all of this happened. Mr. Ryder was astute, noticing that after Mr. Brooks being in his home for maybe 8 to 9 minutes, he saw squads driving by. I think you could say his gut told him something wasn't right. And he had Mr. Brooks go onto the porch, of course, after having given him a sandwich, given him a coat to wear, ultimately asks him for his coat back. And then, of course, the arrest. This is where some of the lies become evident. Mr. Brooks claims ultimately when he's being interviewed by Detective Carpenter, they have to actually seek medical clearance for him because he claims that he was thrown to the ground when he was arrested. He was not. The video is very clear. He cooperated. He laid down. There was no use of force used at all to take him into custody. But we know ultimately that he lies about what he was doing in Waukesha, how he got there, who he was with. He lies about having contact with Erica Patterson the day before. We know when he's found, he has the Ford Key credit card, not only in his name, but one, whether it's a credit card or like a benefits card, but it's in the name of Erica Patterson, and of course an ID for himself, a state issued ID. The Ford itself is registered in his mom's name. It's the same address that's on his ID, and there was documentation found in the Ford Escape. He's now in custody. He's taken to the substation, ultimately taken to Waukesha Memorial Hospital. What's notable about the video and audio clips that this court reviewed from the hospital, Mr. Brooks is calm. He's coherent. There's no obvious signs of impairment, no obvious signs or really any signs of mental distress. He makes statements that he's not from the area. He doesn't appear disoriented or confused. At some point, there's kind of a jovial atmosphere between him and one of the detectives. The next day, he lies to Detective Carpenter, denies driving to Waukesha. I got a ride. He makes up this story about a tan Kia. He's very nondescript and vague with the information that he provides. And over the course of those 5 hours, he never once references the parade. He never once says there was another driver. Of course, they start talking to him initially about the domestic altercation because by that time, it's very clear a link had been made between Erica Patterson and the call that police originally received of the domestic, or at least an altercation near Frame Park and Mr. Brooks. We also know, because of the bond conditions in the 2 felony cases, he's not supposed to have any contact with her whatsoever, but he does. At no time during the 5 hours on November 22nd, does he make any admissions? Does he show any concern for any of the victims? No empathy, only lies, only concern for himself, for his family. Can I have a phone call? He does not provide, and I said this already, the name of anyone else.
I'll provide this here. One of the reasons that the state did not want to include Nicholas Kirby into the witness list is because his statements appear to be somewhat false. Okay. And he brings this up on the stand. He says that he saw Daryl Brooks drive through the parade. This appears to be impossible. All right. Because there is earlier footage of the cop talking to Nicholas Kirby. Now, I'm sure he saw the aftermath, but he didn't actually see it. All right. I believe that this was a lie. All right. Because he was talking to the cop while, all right, the cop is getting all the information of all these people hit. And the cop quickly jots down Erica's phone number, and another officer's like, you need to go. Like, you can't keep taking this report. You need to leave. And he jumps in his car and leaves. All right. So Nicholas Kirby's there in person. And how could he have actually seen this actually taking place? And I believe that's why they did not call him, because his story was not adding up. But yes, I could be wrong. I'm just saying I don't see how this could have actually happened based on the actual evidence that was in court.
That could be driving that vehicle.
Hi, Ellie.
Hey, Ellie. Did you pick out your bingo
At
prize?
one point, Detective Carpenter says one of 2 people drove through
Oh, that's
the
Reed.
Waukesha Christmas
My
parade.
bad.
Yeah, Ree.
Either a God-fearing person who screwed up or the malicious guy. Daryl Brooks' response is, don't spin it. One of the things that has become abundantly clear throughout this trial, Daryl Brooks understands exactly what he's doing. His comprehension is fine. I have absolutely no concerns and have never had any concerns throughout this case and throughout this trial, or even through the past day and a half regarding his competency. He's intelligent, he's deliberate, he's purposeful.
He's
He made numerous
diabolical.
arguments during this trial, one about the right to counsel versus the right to the assistance of counsel. That's a sophisticated legal argument, not the product of someone who doesn't understand. He asked questions on cross regarding tint, horns. He brought up the recall after the fact. He talked and asked questions about, question about barricades, police being at the intersection. Although we never fully understood what his defense was, what became very apparent to me as I reread through all of my notes is that from the very beginning, he wanted to argue jury nullification. If you go back to his opening statements, he talked about power and the jury doing the right thing. He repeated that theme during his closing statement. At one point, He objected to evidence based upon a violation of one of the court's pretrial rulings. Again, a pretty sophisticated objection that resulted in the court striking an exhibit that had previously been received. Today, he spent close to 2 hours talking on his own behalf without any notes.
By the way, 173 of you here. If you would swing down, just tickle that like button for just a hip. I do appreciate that, or lovingly caress the like button. Always appreciate it. Thank you so much, my friends.
He covered a variety of topics. I want to talk next about, here's my note that I found. One more thing on Mr. Brooks. You know, at times, right, we've seen the eye rolling, the fake clapping, the laughing, hand gestures, many times and most times very emotionless, unless he's doing those things, which would be really inappropriate and are inappropriate. His reactions are largely negative when things are not going his way. What did this community suffer as a result of this tragedy, this malicious conduct by Mr. Brooks? Well, I think many of the victims who spoke said it best. Lori Locken described it as this: a sense of personal safety you robbed from us. I believe it was Bill Mitchell who said, the only life he seems to value is his own.
Mm-hmm.
Jason referred to it as evil. And he talked about innocence being stolen. He called the defendant a coward. No remorse. What he said is, you look like a monster. You look disrespectful to court and witnesses. You look like a callous jerk. But I forgive you. Such character, such compassion. Margaret talked about the mental, physical, and emotional toll this has taken. She talked about how it was so traumatizing that her mind won't let her see everything that has happened, and that she's worried when her mind might allow her to do that.
Thank you, Jackie.
Hey, Chucky.
I'm thankful that she's 95% back to normal. She talked about emotionally every day, she's reminded of the physical pain and the loss of self, but she's had tremendous support from family and friends, and that today she will move on. Jeff Rogers also commented on the lack of remorse and sympathy for the victims, how he has had to relive just the immenseness of this, the confusion, the anxiety, depression as a father, and irritation. He talked about how his son, Caden, was so concerned for his younger sister. I'm really glad Riley is okay. I believe that was from the day of the parade. And how he recognized he was inches away from losing 3 of his 4 kids just because of where they were located. He had flashbacks of grabbing his daughter's jacket, missing the first time, but that Riley gets up sometimes 6, 7, 8 times a night. How this was supposed to be a happy kickoff event for him as their new president, and how after it happened and in the aftermath, the weight of the moment, and 35 people there trying to find everyone, weighed on him.
This is important here, is what she's pointing out here is one of the people, he had 4 children there. This would be the baseball coach. And he grabbed one of his daughters by the coat, missed the first time, and then grabbed his daughter and literally threw her towards the curb. And Daryl Brooks blamed her injuries on the father for throwing her out of the way of the moving vehicle. All right? That's garbage. All right?
Yeah. I remember when he was talking, he looked just still like he could remember it like it was yesterday.
Yeah. I mean, that is sick behavior there, to blame her injuries on the father throwing her out of the path of the vehicle. That's just insane.
He talked about the media showing up at his door and the emotional toll things have taken. It was intense. And speaking at Jackson's funeral, he talked about how his faith is stronger. Again, very gracious, very inspiring.
Good morning, sir.
We heard next from Jessica and Juan, and
Hey, Sarasota.
how this impacted them, the loss of their son's friend Jackson. Their kids were involved in 2 different groups that day. One a dance group, not the extreme dance group, but a different one. And then of course the Blazers. And how, I believe it was Jessica who said, I yelled stop. I put my hands out as if I had the power. How she saw Jackson and how she will forever have that image burned in her memory. And that she was so grateful when she found her son, how she covered his eyes to shield him from what was around. Not once, but twice they had to run, because at first it was what happened through the parade, and then the active shooter situation, because of obviously people didn't know who had fired the shots in that moment. And she talked about pain and terror. Many people talked about PTSD. I mean, for her, I was really struck by how difficult it has been because of what she saw, not able to be a teacher, how she's hyper vigilant, and every sound sends her into a panic, how her joy has been stolen, and how she does her best to hold it together for her kids. But when she was alone, she cried, she screamed. And only a month ago was she able to return to work, but in a very different capacity. She commented on the lack of remorse by Mr. Brooks, and that he seems to search only for sympathy for himself. She said he will always be a danger to society. We heard from more individuals from the Blazers. Again, a lot of discussion of PTSD. The sights and sounds of the SUV plowing through, the impact to her and the kids, the nightmares, how parking lots are problems, there's panic attacks, that no one will ever be the same. Of course, we heard next from the Sparks family. They're hurt, angry, they're traumatized, they're broken. It was difficult to even watch them make their statements. Their hurt is palpable. She talked about her last hug with Jackson, the horrible sounds she heard. She saw a police officer holding Jackson. She went to Tucker, and then her world came crashing down. She talked about how she found a hat, both boys' hats, then shoes. And I didn't realize how significantly Tucker had been injured until she described that for us yesterday. How Tucker somehow blames himself for his brother's death. It's not your fault, Tucker. It's Mr. Brooks's fault. One of the things when there is a fatality with all of these victims is the future that is robbed from them, right? No future weddings, no future graduations, no future grandchildren or children, no plans. It's just gone. It's all memories. And the contrast with, frankly, what Mr. Brooks will have, and that is even a life in prison, he'll make memories, he'll have phone calls, he'll have visits. He may even get to hug the people that he loves again. For the 6 individuals who lost their lives, that will never, ever be a reality. And that this family also talked about the lack of empathy, lack of remorse, no apology. I'm aware Mr. Brooks wants to come back. It says, I don't intend to interrupt in any way. That's not a pledge. He needs to pledge that he will not do so. I need that word in that statement. And if he does that, I'll bring him back in. I'm going to try to go a little bit faster. Some of the comments The yells and screams from that night will haunt.
Of course, Joe Brooks doesn't know what a pledge is. He's so disappointed. He doesn't know what a pledge is.
He just doesn't want to follow directions. He wants to do it his own way.
Yep. He just can't do it. Yeah. Oh, he'll make a thing out of it. Don't worry. He'll make a thing out of it. It's his thing. Oh, dear. There we go.
Me for the rest of my life. I'm asking the court to give the max for each conviction because he has given the community a life sentence of these memories. I think it was Tyler's mom who talked about the community rising like a phoenix. You clearly have a phoenix for a son. He's strong. He got me a little bit with his comments. Wasn't expecting that. You're an amazing young man. You're a picture of resiliency, of fortitude, of strength. I think what this community needs. I thought it was quite a testament that you took those pictures in the same.
What did we decide on this one, Ketchup? Did we decide?
I thought we were going to do Cardi B. It's not very long. I think it'll probably just be like a couple streams.
Yeah, I think we're going to do Cardi B is next. And then after that, I thought we were going to run over Gwyneth Paltrow because that's a short one, too. It'll probably just be one stream, actually, for Gwen because we're just going to cover the funny portions. We're not actually going to cover the whole trial. And then we'll move on from there. We might do Ronnie O'Neill.
Yeah, that one is good.
And we might do Slender Man. Slender Man one's good. So yeah, we'll Peltro one. Yeah, Peltro was good. It was kind of boring at portions, but boy, it had some spicy parts. So we'll see. But I think we're gonna do a little Cardi B next. Okay, so yeah, this one's wrapping up. I think I got one more episode after this of trying to pull everything together with a few things we missed. Yeah, we're closing down here on Gerald Brooks here.
You're welcome, Chucky.
The same pictures of Jackson, you replicated that, and I thought that was a great tribute to him. You talked about, of course, rising up with Eric, who had significant injuries as well, both of you, and how you fought back and you were able to play baseball, even if not up to the full capacity that you had done previously. And then we next heard from Sasha, who's haunted by survivor guilt. My heart breaks for her. She talked about feeling empty, how she couldn't play soccer because her kicking leg would hurt from the injuries she sustained. She has difficulty sleeping, struggles with nightmares. Physically and emotionally, she feels stuck. She talked about maybe law school being in her future. To her, I say, don't give them the satisfaction of holding you back. Rely on your friends and your family and be the phoenix that Tyler's mom spoke about. Jen Dunn read a statement from Sasha's mom, and I wrote this down. No one knows what it's like to stand on your feet when there is no floor. That's a pretty powerful image. I think that's very apt for what this community has gone through. We heard from others, including the Teagues. We saw photographs. So many families with more than one individual who was injured. How baseball for Eric was stolen, how he was such a good player. We heard a lot about night terrors and, again, PTSD and trauma. One of the individuals talked about humor is good medicine, and I would echo that. We heard about one band member whose instrument may have very well saved his life. Someone described it as a mental massacre, though, the aftermath of this. It's difficult to go downtown. It's difficult to get restful slumber. Panic attacks are common. Describe Mr. Brooks' sheer evil in its vilest form. I wrote down that despite all of the impact and carnage. Many people talked about forgiveness, brokenness, sorrow, anger, hatred, regret. A lot of emotions, frankly, really no emotion shown by Mr. Brooks, certainly not for what he did on November 21st. We saw a lot of anger for some of the people who lost loved ones, and understandably so. Many families were devastated. Nannies and grandmas were taken away. Yes, there were very specific terms used to describe Mr. Brooks, that in their opinion, he's a monster, he's a demon. Pure, unrepentant evil was one of the phrases that were used. Talked about the system failing us. Saw you in your SUV hanging out with a smile of satisfaction on your face. For one of Leanna Owen's sons, I lost my mom, and I wasn't always a good son. You can hear, right, the regret in that statement, because life is short, and these lives were taken far too short. We heard the very gracious statement from Michael Carlson, who, unbeknownst to me, had been writing Mr. Brooks in jail and sharing the gospel and the love of Jesus. He read a poem, which I thought was beautiful, from the standpoint of his sister. And he said this, in that poem, it says, "We both died that day. I, Tamara, died to life. You died to the world." And then, of course, the Sorensen family talked next. They talked about never seeing their Grammy again. "You murdered my mom. But at least I have some peace knowing she died doing something she loved." We heard from Brooke yesterday and today. She reread her statement due to the interruption. Proud of her for getting up here and sharing that. We talked about how compassionate each one of these individuals who died were. We heard about the compassion from Detective Casey that we learned about. It said Detective Casey came to our home to verify what we knew, and he greeted us every day of this trial. They ended with, "Angels watch over us." 6 angels watching over us today. They asked me to hold Mr. Brooks accountable so that he will not have the opportunity to hurt anyone ever again. We heard from the Kulik family about the empty space that they have and the brokenness, their lives being shattered by mom and grandma being taken away. We heard from her youngest daughter among them. The grief was so palpable, being 17 and in high school as a senior, now a first year in college. She talked about all of the things she will never have with her mom.
But yeah, to answer this, Rich, in the final episode I do intend to cover a little bit of this. So that is the plan. So yeah, that is what I'm planning on doing. So yeah, we'll see a little bit of that. That should be okay.
Just the last year alone, an 18th birthday for her and her brother, graduation, and beginning college. She lamented that her mom would never see her do her wedding vows, never see any kids that she would have, be a grandmother. She wouldn't be able to call her mom for parenting advice. And how excruciating it was for that family to wait 3 hours because of the chaos at the hospital. Talked about triggers of their PTSD, sirens, things of that nature. And how she waited hoping that Darrell Brooks would have a reason. She also said this, verdicts don't bring my mom back. No more hugs, no more dinners, no more talks. My mom was the glue that kept our family together, and we are falling apart. Moving on, Leanne talked about her safety and security being stolen by this defendant. She asked Mr. Brooks to picture his own daughter, unresponsive, lying on the ground with a leg injury, a head injury, and blood coming out of her mouth. She talked about the excruciating 2 weeks in the hospital, wondering if her daughter would ever live, in a wheelchair and then a walker for months. She said this, all you had to do was hit the brakes. Her daughter talked about being scared of everything, worried about a sister, being alone in a church for 3 hours on lockdown because of what was happening in the aftermath. And we heard next from the Urel family. A family that, of course, was impacted significantly with 4 of their children, all of their children being struck by the SUV, with the mom, of course, having to testify, in this case being called by Mr. Brooks, which, of course, was his right to call witnesses. But it's the manner in which, I think, the indifference, not caring that this was someone who had 4 children impacted significantly. But clearly, you're raising your kids the right way. Grace and dignity, Charlotte got up and talked about. The basic things you learned in kindergarten. She described what she saw as being stupid, delusional, and egotistical. She wanted to punch you in the face, and understandably so. I think her words were, "Your arrogance is pathetic," and her mom echoed those words. And then the gut-wrenching survivor guilt that you heard from her mom. She goes, "I say this with a heavy heart. I have my kids here.
Seriously,
I had to fight
Becky?
for my children. They were there." And then, of course, we heard from Alyssa, her heart-wrenching statement. She, of course,
Chucky, don't forget
testified
about the
bravely,
ass print on his other car.
but you could tell the impact that this had on her and what she saw in the aftermath to the extreme dance team. How one of the girls, who at 10 years old, even lying on the ground being injured, had the wherewithal to ask, why would someone do this? If a 10-year-old knew this, then the defendant knew this. And how she left the hospital not knowing if she would see some of her girls again. She was completely and utterly broken, forever changed by this event. She waited. She talked about how she waited for remorse, for empathy. It didn't happen. Dylan Urel said something very insightful yesterday, something we didn't hear about in the trial, but because of where he was at on the parade route, around the corner, waiting for his children, he didn't even know that all of them were in the parade. He said this, you hit the brakes to go around the corner. And then you drove through a barricade where an officer shot at you 3 times. Those brakes were working. You knew how to use them. And you selfishly only used them so as to not crash your own vehicle as you fled the scene. Talked about walking through and around that corner through the wake of carnage, bodies all over, women, adults, children, deceased, people running all over. We heard from more of the members of the extreme dance team, either directly or parents and loved ones, how they had to walk through the carnage to find their children. Such a gracious statement of love, talking to Mr. Brooks about being a Christian and how she prays for him. Very powerful. Thank you for that. Her daughter, equally as powerful and brave and gracious. But even she knew, she said, I thought about you every day. How could someone do this? More victims talking about PTSD. How even the song that was playing during the extreme dance team performance is a trigger for her PTSD. And how she's forgiven him. We heard from the sister of victim HH and how the first thing she talked about was the sound of Vivian Urel whimpering, crying, and then she found her sister, how her clothes were ripped off. She was unconscious, half naked. How she felt forgotten because her mom was at the hospital with her sister, of course, due to the severity of her injuries. How her sister was in a coma for 2 weeks. But how she has survivor guilt and issues like that, panic attacks, PTSD. She can't be around fireworks. Tire screeching is a trigger. That this turned her life upside down. And then, of course, we heard from victim HH herself. So brave to come here. I'm so very thankful you are recovering. Someone commented on how amazing it is to see the many people in recovery, you wouldn't know by looking at them. Of course, the emotional and mental injuries are significant and severe, but so grateful, frankly, lucky to be alive. I say to you, that scar on your neck should be a sign of strength and fortitude. You fought, you won. You have a story to tell. Don't shy away from it. Of course, we heard from her mother as well. We saw that PowerPoint with the pictures of their journey. The road rash on her face was horrific. You can only get a mental picture from words so much, but to see those actual pictures, her being intubated, and it's heart-wrenching. And all of the surgeries and the toll it took on their family. But she described her daughter as a warrior. I think all of you here are warriors. We heard from Sam and her family and what she went through and how significant her injuries were. And her mom talked about the haunting vision she has of just what she saw because of her perspective. Sitting in the back of the pickup truck, she had a front row seat to horror. How she thought her daughter was dead because she was unresponsive and blood and really kind of the chaos and the confusion and not really even being able to articulate what happened over the phone to her husband. She described what happened as careless and reckless. Asking Mr. Brooks, how could you do this? What kind of father does that? The last person we heard from was victim, I think it's Gigi, the mother of FF. If I have it reversed, please excuse me. And how I actually have her written statement that was provided earlier today, but how she was so taken aback by the conduct of Mr. Brooks that she frankly called him out on it yesterday because he was kind of motioning his hand like, okay, come on, let's get this over with, hurry up. She yelled at him.
Look at this a-hole.
She goes, you hit me. I saw you. You knew. You're a child killer. You're a woman killer.
Yeah, of course, he's going to have his objection here.
Yes, sarcastic. It was intentional.
Yep. Yeah, I'm not a fan of this guy. As most people know, I'm not a fan. Yeah, no, Joe Brooks is a terrible individual. We all know that. He's got his chains on. He looks good now. He's in the appropriate place.
Hey, Miyagi.
Hi, Miyagi.
She was so flustered, she had to really gather herself before she could continue. So again, I want to thank the victims. I have other statements that I've read for people. So gracious. I think they were all members of the Catholic communities. Their statements were translated, very gracious, praying for Mr. Brooks. So I just wanted you all to know that I've taken all of these statements into consideration today. I can't read your sign, Mr. Brooks. Can you hold it up closer? If it's a pledge that you will not interrupt me, I will bring you in for what will be the final section of my remarks today in the sentencing portion.
I think you should give them that opportunity before you go through the
that.
sentencing factors. And I can only read the top where it says objection, but
I can't tell what it is, what it says. He can bring the sign with. We'll clear the courtroom. We'll take a short break, and I will bring him back in. But I will warn you, Mr. Brooks, if there is one interruption, you will go back to that room because you will forfeit your right to be present for the sentencing portion. We'll be in recess until we can get him back in. Thank you.
Well, here we go. We're going to have Daryl Brooks come back in the room. This should be exciting. I bet you it's going to go well, Chop Chop.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure it's going to be great. I'm sure he's going to be on his best behavior.
Oh, yeah. Here we go. Let's see here.
Does he get kicked out in under a minute?
Probably.
No, your conduct did. So you
My
can
conduct
sit.
didn't man anything either.
Right, Mr. Brooks,
You
please
keep
sit
changing-
down.
You keep
And
changing
I'm
the
going to continue
jurisdiction.
with my sentencing remarks.
You keep changing the jurisdiction. Jurisdiction is the subject matter jurisdiction that has yet to be proven on the record.
Oh,
In
Mr.
that court
Brooks,
and in this one.
please sit down.
I would like to go back to the other court.
It's not a courtesy to you. If you'd like to specifically waive your right to be physically present, then I will entertain that. Otherwise, you need to sit
I
down.
never waived the right to not be present.
That's
I had
because you
to-
forfeited your right
I
to be
didn't
present
forfeit
by
anything, Your
conduct.
Honor.
You're
I
now
wrote-
back in this courtroom.
Your Honor, I wrote 3. I did what you asked me to do.
You
said-
never once pledged to me, sir, that
No.
you would not interrupt. And you're
You-
demonstrating by being here that you continue to interrupt.
Man, I ain't trying to hear all that because at the end of the day, I did what you asked me to do. You told the bailiff to tell
Mr.
me.
Brooks, this is not a debate.
You told the bailiff to
It's
tell me
not
that
a
I had
debate.
to
You
write.
asked to come over here, and I honored that,
Well,
and
I
I brought you
exercised my
back.
right 3 times. I shouldn't have had to do it 3 times.
None of those opportunities that you wrote to me said, I pledge to not interrupt.
I never had to do
Judge
that before. You've never required that before.
That is actually not true, sir.
You've never required that before. Every single time that I've been brought over there, after some time, sometimes very short, sometimes an extended
Mr.
period
Brooks,
of time.
you are just simply trying to delay the
I'm-
inevitable. Please sit
I
down.
don't care about the inevitable. It was
I need
already
to
written
get
from day
through
one
this
what was going to
hearing.
happen. It doesn't make me lose any sleep about that. I know I'm okay. I'm okay with everything.
Then please
I just
sit
wanna
down.
I just want to be treated fairly, which I have
Please.
not been.
Please sit down.
And then Your Honor, you
Mr.
always make it seem
This is
like
not a
you always
debate.
make it seem like it's some type of aim, and it's not.
Please sit down.
We're talking about constitutional rights. You just told me, or you told the bailiff to tell me that I had to exercise a right that I should already have. I did that. Not once, not twice, 3 times. And it still wasn't honored. And then I raised this sign. I'm
Mr.
waving
Brooks,
this for like 20 minutes
you're-
saying I would want to come back. I'm doing this.
You're
Hey,
here
can I
now.
come back? Can I come back? Can I
So
come
sit
back?
down.
It wasn't honored. And then
So I
I said,
can
okay,
finish.
I'll write this and I'll see if Your Honor can see it on the screen. The objection sign saying,
Mr.
I
Brooks,
exercise my right
if
to
you
be present.
stop for a
And I have
minute,
the order of the court.
I'll
Look at the
explain it,
bailiff.
but you have to stop so
I'm
I
not
can
worried about
explain it.
Your Honor, I did what you asked me to do.
Actually not.
Yes.
Let me explain
And
if you would like.
if I didn't, Your Honor, if I did not do what you asked me to do, then why was I allowed to come back if I did not do what you asked me
Because I'm frankly going to a very distinct portion of this hearing where I am going to impose sentence.
Okay, that doesn't
and
answer the
that
question, though, Your Honor.
matters.
It doesn't answer the question.
Please sit down and I will explain and
Your Honor,
remain quiet
with all
without
due-
interrupting me.
With all due respect.
That doesn't mean you're respecting me, so please sit down.
With all due respect, you told the bailiff when I first said, because every time that I've been brought over there in the past,
Mr. Brooks,
always stated-
I don't need a history
always
lesson of
stated
what I've done.
that when I
Well, this is going well.
Oh yeah, Coop, a ball gag? That would be perfect right about now.
Yeah, this is going well. I'm glad he was brought back over.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
What an idiot.
yeah, this is good times here for Daryl. I'm feeling good about this situation. Whew, you think he's going to be able to stay?
No.
Well, let's find out.
Okay.
I exercise my right to be present.
Untrue.
You've
Untrue.
always said
Untrue.
we have the record. We can dig into the record.
Mr. Brooks,
I know what the requirement was of me going over there. You've always stated on the record that when I exercise my right to be present, you will bring me back if I will follow the rules of decorum. That's your exact words, which you said every time.
which you're
I've never-
demonstrating
I've
right now
never
that you
had-
have absolutely
Your
no
Honor,
ability to do.
With all due respect, I've never had to go through any type of certain words that needed to be said or stressed or anything like that before. I've always done it the way that you've asked me to do it. No different than today when I told the bailiff I would like to be present. You told the bailiff if he wants to be present, he has to put it in writing.
And
I
pledge to
put it-
me
I
that
put
he
it
will
in-
not interrupt me
I put it in writing.
without a pledge.
So why am I here?
Because I'm going to move on to another phase of this hearing, and I thought it important that you be here in person.
So I was here.
But you didn't reclaim your right to be back here.
Then why am I here
am
then, Your Honor?
allowing it to
Okay,
happen.
and I respect that you're allowing it, but still, it doesn't answer the question, though, Your Honor. It does not answer the question.
Mr. Brooks.
Your Honor, as a
Mr.
public
Brooks.
servant, I have the right to ask questions
Sir.
of Your Honor.
I'm going to ask you one more time, and if you refuse to sit down, then you are in direct disobedience of a court order. Sit
That-
down and be quiet so I can make the appropriate record.
Can you tell me what the
All
court
right,
order
he's
is?
not going to obey. He's now
I didn't-
forfeited
I
his
didn't say
right
I
to be
wasn't gonna
present.
obey.
He will go into the
I
other
didn't say I
courtroom.
wasn't going to obey.
We'll be
I
in
just asked
recess
what is the
until he's
order.
there.
I just asked what is the order. I didn't say.
Wow, that didn't last long.
Great job, Daryl.
Yeah, that didn't seem to last very long.
No, but I really think it helped.
Yeah, I think it's going to help in sentencing.
Totally.
You'll probably get a better deal.
Totally. That's what I'm expecting.
Of course, I do need to first verify that they can hear and see us. I'm getting the thumbs up. We are back on the record to reflect that Mr. Brooks is no longer in the main courtroom. He is
The
in
look on the
adjoining courtroom.
bailiff's
I,
face
of course, have been
behind
erring
him
on the
was
side-
like, I knew this was a waste of time.
Well, we gave it a whirl. At least I didn't have to haul all the boxes in again.
Right? What a douche.
Of course, I do need to first verify that they can hear and see us. I'm getting the thumbs up. We are back on the record to reflect that Mr. Brooks is no longer in the main courtroom. He is in the adjoining courtroom. I, of course, have been erring on the side of constitutional caution, but I would note that his right to be present at sentencing is a statutory right, which, frankly, I probably don't need to go through the findings under Illinois versus Allen, but I did. But under whether it's a statutory right or a constitutional right, you can forfeit that right. And his behavior today has certainly demonstrated that he has forfeited his right to be present in this courtroom during my sentencing remarks. He immediately came in. I was on the bench looking through my paperwork. The courtroom wasn't even open. And he started asking me questions. I said I wasn't going to answer them. He really had no respect for the proper decorum. I needed it to be on the record. He didn't seem to care about that. Wanted to debate me about my prior rulings. Bottom line is it's a statutory right for him to be present, and he's forfeited that right.
I've commented on this a few times. Judge D was too lenient, in my opinion. I thought so too. But at the same time, she's protecting the record. She's protecting her record. She's protecting herself from appeal. Appeal was denied recently. So everything happened that was supposed to happen. So for that matter, I guess she did a good job if you think about it, because appeal was denied. So
I think she did a great job.
Yeah.
Nobody knows what it was like to be in her shoes and deal with this
nonsense.
F face every day.
Yeah. So no, I mean, I thought too. I was like, oh, it's too lenient. But then at the same time, I was like, once his appeal recently got denied, I was like, all right, well, she did what she was supposed to do. She threw everything on the record of everything that happened, so that in an appeal, the judges are going to look at the actual case. What happened during the trial? All right, that's what they're going to be looking at. Did he get a mistrial? Was there, and they're going to look at all of that. And so now she protected the record, and that's what she was doing.
And I would just add that it's part of a pattern that has been demonstrated. Trial is unlike anything that I've ever been a part of. The sheer magnitude of the crime, the number of people impacted, how they were impacted, the vicious, senseless nature of it, and hearing about the impact of all of that on our community members and the people who were at the parade, it's heart-wrenching. And I wanted to do that before I really got to the meat of sentencing, because I also thought it was important to really spend some time recognizing and acknowledging the impact to the direct victims who are in this courtroom and who have provided statements. Today, my focus in sentencing will be about November 21 of 2021, the events shortly before that or leading up to it and after, and are not about Mr. Brooks's conduct during this trial, even though case law is very clear that his conduct at trial can.
Jay, did you boot yourself? Well, I think Jay left. Jay, did you leave?
Hang on.
Okay.
Hang on. just here. Here we go. Sorry. Hit the wrong button. My bad. Hi, Wrinkles. How are you? My bad.
Is something happening?
Bone Crusher Red. Can you hear Ketchup?
No.
Oh no, Ketchup, go out and come back in. Go out and come back.
Jay, are you gone again?
No, I'm here. I'm here. Chop, go out. Hold on, let me send a private message over here.
I can't hear anything, so.
Back in.
Okay.
Hang on, we'll get Chop back. Just sit tight. Yeah, Chop couldn't hear me. Chop couldn't hear me. Sit tight, folks. I hit a button. Okay, Chop's back. I'm back. Here we go.
Okay.
My bad. I hit a button.
You're destroying the stream, but it's okay.
Just destroying the show.
Brooks treated it with contempt, disrespect, and at times like a game. But sentencing today is directly related to his conduct on November 21 of 2021 and the other sentencing factors, which, as I indicated previously, include the seriousness of the offense, the need to protect the public, and his character and rehabilitative needs. Today, I am tasked with sentencing Darrell Brooks for 76 counts related to a couple of moments in time. Moments that are tragic, moments that were frankly avoidable. My sentence here today is, the purposes of it are twofold, really threefold if we think about the community. One, it is punishment. Two, protection of the community. And three, what I hope is justice and closure for the families and the community at large. I, of course, want to recognize and give due respect to the guilty verdicts that were rendered by the jury in this case. Not just 76 guilty verdicts, but the special verdict questions that they answered, including for counts 1 through 6 and 7 through 67 that had the special verdict question related to the use of a dangerous weapon. So let me talk about the seriousness of this offense. The seriousness of the offense can be summed up, frankly, in one word, and that is attack. There is nothing, no other word that can best describe what happened on November 21 of 2021 than the word attack. I talked about, during my remarks regarding the trial, about the opportunities that Darrell Brooks had to avoid this altogether. I put Exhibit 15 on the screen for a bit, which is the exhibit that details the map. The map of the parade, it starts with White Rock. It shows where Sergeant Warner was at one point, farther up that parade route, the staging area. And I believe if you look further up on Exhibit 15, it even depicts where White Rock School is. And that, of course, is where we saw the video of the altercation between Mr. Brooks, Corey Runkle, Nicholas Kirby, and Erica Patterson. Now, of course, there were moments in time before that, but that is really where things started, where I believe Mr. Brooks boiled over with rage and anger that he chose not to control on this date. He had a number of opportunities to simply drive in the other direction down White Rock, but he chose to drive toward Main Street, even though from the testimony, we know it was very evident that it was staging for a parade. There were many people, may not have been exactly by the school, but farther down White Rock, from Niagara forward is where that staging area was located, and many people were there. The sights and sounds of a parade, the signs on the side of the road telling people not to park there, for example. Instead of turning around, or instead of turning left onto East Main Street or left onto Pleasant, and despite Sergeant Warner trying to flag him down and being in front of a squad with lights, and a clear indication you should listen to or honor the even gestures of a police officer, and he was in uniform, he drives down White Rock Avenue and has contact with Detective Casey, who very clearly did everything he could to stop Mr. Brooks. And in that moment, thinking it's a lost motorist. But Mr. Brooks chose to basically brush him aside with that SUV and drive on to Main Street, past more people, past many spectators, and in a manner that was not just at a speed inappropriate for a parade, but frankly, that was reckless and endangered anyone who was on the roadway at that time, whether or not he hit anyone between White Rock and Main and Barstow and Main. But during that 3-block section of Main Street, he could have turned off Buckley, Northeast Avenue, Martin Street, or in either direction on Barstow. He could have stopped, asked for the police barricades to have been removed, or frankly, turned his car around even at that point and gone back the way that he had come. But he didn't do that. He chose to drive recklessly, carelessly, and maliciously through a parade route and at anyone in his path, where he struck not one, not two, not three, but 68 different people. We actually know that number's higher because we now know, we heard from the 2 individuals who were with Extreme Dance, but the one girl who was struck by one of the individuals who was clearly struck, and that person flew into her. That would qualify for a charge based upon the state's description of how they chose to charge. It's just they didn't know until closer to the sentencing hearing. So 69 individuals if you include her. There are so many aggravating factors here, it's frankly difficult to even keep track of them all. The complete disregard for the lives of anyone else that day. Someone described it as depraved indifference, and I think that is the perfect phrase to capture the actions of Mr. Brooks on November 21st of 2021. The aggravated factors of the numerous opportunities to turn around or not even enter the parade route, or simply.
If you could, folks, please swing down and just tickle that like button for just Jay. I would appreciate that for Jay and Ketchup. Actually, more for Ketchup than me. I would appreciate that. That would be super, super cool. Nice. Thank you.
Please.
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 Simply to stop. The fact that he mowed over and used that vehicle as a battering ram to hit 68 individuals, never once stopping, with rage and anger at unsuspecting people at a parade who were there simply to kick off the holiday season, to experience joy with their families. The intentionality of the conduct is outstanding. The viciousness, the speed, the swerving from side to side at various points. This was not a case of whodunit. From the very beginning, from when this case was charged, it was clear who did this. Now, that is not to say that I prejudged this case. I did not. But after sitting through this trial, after watching the many videos, after listening to the testimony of the many, many dozens of witnesses, it is clear the state had overwhelming evidence of Mr. Brooks's guilt. What's also aggravated is his complete and utter lack of remorse. He spoke here today for 2 hours. One sentence, that's it. I'm sorry. No detail. 2 hours, one sentence. No empathy for any of these individuals. At times mocking them with hand gestures or rolling his eyes multiple times. That is not an indication or a sign of someone who has empathy, who is sorry for what he has done. We may never know the true why, but we were provided with nothing here today other than a feeble attempt to blame mental health, which frankly does a disservice to those who truly suffer from mental health issues. I understand why his family might cling to that because of the difficulty in coming to grips with a loved one doing such heinous things. But for Mr. Brooks, it's nothing more than indifference, deflection, and outright denial of what he did and the impact that he has caused as a result of his heinous actions. I searched for a mitigating factor in this case. I waited patiently for an apology, a true apology. I didn't get it. And not for my benefit, but for the victims. The law allows me to look at things such as Mr. Brooks's prior criminal history, including the history of criminal offenses and pending charges, the
What does
history of
this stupid
undesirable
sign
behavior
say?
patterns, which can include dismissed, uncharged, or unproven offenses or facts, even including expunged offenses not really relevant here, acts resulting in probation revocation. Of course, those are part of his criminal history, nothing specific to these charges.
Not 100% sure. I think it probably said objection is my guess. And probably had a note that says, I want to come back into the courtroom. It's just typical stuff.
Okay, I was just wondering because I tried to zoom in to read it and I couldn't read it because he was writing in pen on that paper and it doesn't show up very well.
Yeah, and he's kind of waving it around and everything, so.
I can look at his personality, character, and social traits, the vicious or aggravated nature of the crimes, the degree of his culpability, his demeanor at trial and truthfulness, his age, his educational background and employment record, his remorse, repentance, and cooperativeness, his need for close rehabilitative control, the rights of the public, the recommendations of the interested parties, including victims and family members of homicide victims. I can consider statements made by his own family. I can certainly consider the length of pretrial detention, which I'd note though, when facing 6 life sentences, is really a fraction of the time available to this court. The loss of life in this case is certainly one of the aggravating factors here today. The number of people injured, also an aggravating factor. The reach into the community, certainly palpable because this was a Christmas parade. I think it was a comment earlier, either today or yesterday, that this was not like one act where Mr. Brooks drove into a crowd of people. This was sustained driving from block to block to block to block, picking off people that were unsuspecting 68, 69 times. Driving over people as if they were nothing more than speed bumps. What's also aggravated is his conduct after he drove through the parade. Crashing his vehicle in an attempt to flee. It's pretty evident based upon the evidence and testimony from trial that Mr. Brooks had no idea there were these logs in that backyard that could damage his vehicle. He was attempting to flee when he ran over them, and it ultimately disabled that vehicle, and he was forced to abandon it. He ditched it, leaving personal identification information in it and his phone in a clear attempt to get out of there in a hurry. And then we have that series of videos that we saw at trial of him going through backyards, coming in contact with people, asking to use phones, ultimately ending up at Mr. Ryder's home, who graciously took him in Never once, Mr. Brooks, showing any signs of distress, of any emotion of what he had just done. Cool, calm, collected. Certainly not a sign of someone who had any remorse for what he had just done. Someone who's involved in an accident, even a tragic accident, one where they flee the scene and are later caught, oftentimes show incredible remorse, tears, not tears for themselves, but tears for what they've caused, a recognition of the loss of life, for example, from their conduct. Nothing. An individual who simply wanted to flee. That is the epitome of consciousness of guilt evidence. Fleeing, changing your appearance, taking off the sweatshirt, not even caring that your shoes are off your feet because you're so intent on fleeing the area, putting your hair up from it being down. No doubt, this is by far and away one of the most aggravated.
Let me try and go out and not go out and come back in, but let me take this down for a sec
Okay.
because it's crackling. Let me see if
Oh, I don't hear any crackling, but okay.
It might be my headphones. I don't know. I hear crackling,
Okay.
but let me go out and come back in. Do you guys hear crackling? I'll just pull it back up again and see if I can do better.
Oh, JD said we do. Let's see. Sound is good.
Some say sound is good. No crackles. No crackle. It might just depend. Everyone says nope, 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 nope. A few yeses, but okay. A couple of yeses, a few yeses, a few no's. Another yes.
Okay, well, do whatever you need to do.
Well, no, I pulled it up again. And it might be the actual stream itself. I do know, but I hear it. But I thought it was my headphones. Yeah, everyone's saying yeah. I'm gonna try it again, and I just re-pulled it up here. Give me just a sec here. I hear it, but it isn't too bad. Yeah, that's the thing. It was bothering me. So yeah. And I can always pull up a different stream if I have to. It's actually been bothering me as a stream, but let's see if we can make it better. I don't know if we can pull it up. Otherwise, I can pull it up on a different stream, of course.
Yama said it. The squirrels in your brain are just farting.
You always bother us, Jibby. All right, we'll see if we can make it better. I don't know. It's their stream. It's not mine.
Mr. Brooks, after the fact, crashed the vehicle, hear him yell out an expletive and run southbound with his sweatshirt still on. We all saw that video. Of course, at one point, Officer Skolton had contact. And as he testified, he put things together. Keep in mind all of the radio traffic, right? About one person, then like 15 people and another 15.
Oh, by the way, I do have to pause. It's just after 10 here. Mr. Coop is live. You will not hurt my feelings to go over and watch Mr. Coop, of course. I'll probably go to about 10:30 here, and then I will send you over to Mr. Coop. But you can come back and rewatch over here later on if you want to. But you won't hurt my feelings to leave and go watch Mr. Coop. I'm sure he has a wonderful show prepared for you fine folks. So yeah, don't please go check out Mr. Coop. He's wonderful. And I'm going to finish out this, though. I'm at least going to finish out the judge in what she has to say today. All right, so we're going to finish out this today. But do go check out Mr. Coop. You will not hurt my feelings. All right. And then trust me, we all love Mr. Coop. So do go check out Mr. Coop. I'm just finishing out the show. And you can all come back and watch later on. Hi Venom. How are you, my friend?
Hey Venom. Puzzle
It was very
Puzzler's
apparent
like,
to him
I'm
that
out.
although he was on the far
Puzzler. She's bailing. Look, see you, Jay. Puzzler says, screw you, bro. Hey, Kelvin.
Hey, Calvin.
Oh, man.
end, he was around the dog leg on Wisconsin and Maine, that a vehicle had driven through the parade. He saw this vehicle. Of course, at that point, it was heavily damaged. He made the decision to use deadly force.
Oops.
What did he do after? What did Darrell Brooks do after? We crashed the vehicle. He fled the scene in a hurry. He changed his appearance, took off his sweatshirt, loses his shoes, I think in a hurry to get out of there, not caring that they had fallen off. He puts his hair up. We saw that on a number of videos. He asked unsuspecting people to use their phone to call an Uber, all within minutes of all of this happening. He was in such a hurry to get out of there. He left his phone in the SUV. He calls his mother, who arranges for an Uber. We heard from the Uber driver. He never showed up. It was nearby, ultimately, where he was found. And then, of course, the ring footage of his contact with Daniel Ryder.
Puzzle Puzzler, you're
5:01
funny.
p.m. Minutes after all of this happened. Mr. Ryder was astute, noticing that after Mr. Brooks being in his home for maybe 8 to 9 minutes, he saw squads driving by. I think you could say his gut told him something wasn't right. And he had Mr. Brooks go onto the porch, of course, after having given him a sandwich, given him a coat to wear, ultimately asks him for his coat back. And then, of course, the arrest. This is where some of the lies become evident. Mr. Brooks claims ultimately when he's being interviewed by Detective Carpenter, they have to actually seek medical clearance for him because he claims that he was thrown to the ground when he was arrested. He was not. The video is very clear. He cooperated. He laid down. There was no use of force used at all to take him into custody. But we know ultimately that he lies about what he was doing in Waukesha, how he got there, who he was with. He lies about having contact with Erica Patterson the day before. We know when he's found, he has the Ford key credit card, not only in his name, but one, whether it's a credit card or like a benefits card, but it's in the name of Erica Patterson, and of course an ID for himself, a state issued ID. The Ford itself is registered in his mom's name. It's the same address that's on his ID, and there was documentation found in the Ford Escape. He's now in custody. He's taken to the substation, ultimately taken to Waukesha Memorial Hospital. What's notable about the video and audio clips that this court reviewed, there is nothing, no other word that can best describe what happened on November 21 of 2021 than the word attack. I talked about during my remarks regarding the trial about the opportunities that Darrell Brooks had to avoid this altogether. I put Exhibit 15 on the screen for a bit, which is the exhibit that details the map. The map of the parade. It starts with White Rock. It shows where Sergeant Warner was at one point, farther up that parade route, the staging area. 61 counts of first-degree recklessly endangering safety, 6 counts of hit and run, 2 counts of felony bail jumping, 1 count of misdemeanor battery. What's further aggravated is the fact that he was out on bond. He should have had no contact with Erica Patterson. But the rules mean nothing to Mr. Brooks. Nothing. He didn't care. This was someone who on 2 prior occasions charged with, frankly, causing mayhem. 1, a reckless endangering safety for discharging a firearm. The other for battering and then running over Erica Patterson's foot. This court does get to consider the other act's evidence that the state sought to introduce at trial. That other act's evidence includes that on November 2 of 2021, Milwaukee police took a complaint from Erica Patterson that Mr. Brooks had run over her with his vehicle and tried to kill her. She had tire marks on her right pant leg. She could not move her leg and had blood coming from her mouth. On that date, Mr. Brooks was driving the same vehicle that he drove through the parade. Erica Patterson was conveyed to Frederick Memorial Hospital.
I'm going to move to that actually came out because we kind of get where
Her injuries received medical attention. She even had that boot on her leg on November 21 of 2021. She described Mr. Brooks to police as yelling at her.
What?
Drove through the Christmas
You're
parade.
fast forwarding
Enraged
it?
because, frankly,
just a little bit.
it's entirely possible that
Oh
Corey Runkle
man, I
and Nicholas
waited all
Kirby
this
saved the
time
life of
for
Erica
this
Patterson.
part.
It's clear Mr. Brooks was hell-bent to cause harm to her, that she was able to get free, run back to her friends. Who knows what would have happened but for their intervention. If you think back to the testimony of Nicholas Kirby, he felt bad for threatening Mr. Brooks. Like
What?
somehow this was his fault. He was just trying to be there for his friend.
I just moved it a tad.
Someone he recently met.
I just, I waited all this time. This is the part I wanted
Mr.
to see
Brooks,
the most.
That other act's evidence
I'll
is
just
a very
rewatch
clear
it
indication
after.
of your poor moral character. It demonstrates unequivocally that you have absolutely no remorse for anything that you do. You have no empathy for anyone, and that you are justified in the actions that you take. In addition to that conduct, as part of your character, this court is able to look at and consider your prior record. And I'm well aware, sir, that you're raising an objection sign, but you have forfeited your right to be here, and I will not stop, and you will not be brought into this courtroom. I will continue.
She's done with him.
This is his prior record, going back to
She is not dealing with his shit no more. This is her time now. And she's not doing this no more.
two thousand, spanning what? Nevada, Georgia, at least police contact in Georgia. We have an unknown disposition in Wisconsin. Substantial battery in 2000, party to a crime. Put on probation. Ultimately, that was revoked. He went to prison. 2002, felony possession of THC, jail time. 2003, resisting obstructing jail time. 2005, a disorderly conduct ticket, but he failed to pay the forfeiture and ended up serving an alternative to incarceration. Sorry, he ended up serving for failing to pay 30 days jail. 2009, obstructing 2 days jail, meaning he lied to police. 2010, strangulation. Battery was dismissed and read in, put on probation, ultimately revoked, serving 11 months jail. 2012, misdemeanor bail jumping, possession of THC, with a number of other charges being dismissed and read in, 180 days jail concurrent. Also in 2012, a misdemeanor resisting or obstructing. So either he lied or he fled from police or did something to make their job more difficult. 37 days jail consecutive. In Nevada in 2006, domestic battery, a suspended sentence, obstructing after being found guilty at trial, for which he served jail time. 2007, statutory sexual seduction as a felony. This is for impregnating Erica Patterson when she was a minor. 2016, charged with not being in compliance with the sex offender registry requirements, for which there is an outstanding warrant. In Georgia, the 2021 arrest for battery, domestic violence, presumably with Erica Patterson, based upon where she came from at that time. But I won't make, I say presumably, but frankly doesn't matter who it was with. We also know that there's the 2003 paternity case out of Waukesha County. Why is that relevant? Because 8 times during that case, a warrant has been issued for contempt of court, meaning for failure to pay his financial obligations to a child or children. The pending cases for which one pending case, I should say, he was, I don't believe, charged with bail jumping for that one. The 20 CF 2550, 2 counts of recklessly using a weapon, felon in possession of a firearm, released ultimately in March of 2021. He's accused in that case of firing a shot. There were two occupants in a vehicle. One was his nephew, and when he was picked up by police, a loaded Beretta, 9mm, which had previously been reported as stolen, was found in his possession. I already talked about the other acts evidence.
Now that's the thing. A stolen gun. He fires it at his nephew because he was mad at his nephew, who him and his friend go jump into a car to drive away out of fear. And he fires at them, hitting the vehicle. All right, this is not like fired into the air. All right, into the vehicle. Why? Well, Joe Brooks' nephew, I believe, is gay, and Joe Brooks just doesn't like him. All right, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, and I hate to say this without knowing for sure, I believe his nephew is gay. All right, he has a argument with the nephew, and of course, the most logical thing to do is walk outside with the stolen firearm and fire into the vehicle. Yeah. That's Daryl Brooks, my friends. That's Daryl Brooks.
Evidence that is the for which he was charged with felony bail jumping, the second degree recklessly endangering safety for allegedly running over Erica Patterson, the battery DV, DCDV, and a resisting obstructing. And then the second would be those he was charged with intimidation of a victim, felony bail jumping for conduct on November 8th. So November 2nd, November 8th.
Rude, Chevy.
This is clearly someone with a demonstrated violent history and past, someone who has absolutely no regard for anyone but himself. To say that he is a lifelong criminal, I think, is accurate. He disobeys law enforcement, he disrespects court orders, and he certainly demonstrated that he has no respect for these proceedings. Multiple acts of violence, violent, dangerous behavior that predated the attack on the Waukesha Christmas parade. His character, or lack thereof, is also demonstrated by his complete and utter denial of culpability in this case. His blaming of his mental health or alleged mental health. There's no evidence that he was suffering from a manic episode. I went through all of that earlier today, going through the 4 reports related to the special plea. None of those doctors found support for his special plea. Mr. Brooks talked about at times this being the will of God, or that all things happen for a reason. I'm here to tell you, Mr. Brooks, you are not an instrumentality of God. Death may be inevitable to all of us, but you cut the lives of 6 individuals short. You alone, Mr. Brooks, cut the lives of these 6 innocent people short. I talked earlier about how I believe he's intelligent, deliberate, and purposeful in what he does. I've considered that you have treatment needs. Perhaps there are intersecting mental health issues as it relates to your personality disorder, but those issues can best be addressed in a confined setting where the Department of Corrections will be charged statutorily to evaluate you and to provide any medical or mental health treatment that you need. This is a case that falls squarely on the need to protect the community. I referenced this earlier. There's really 3 primary reasons for the sentences I will impose here today. One is punishment, one is to protect the community, and the other is to provide justice and closure to the victims. Because under that category of need to protect, the court does get to consider the impact of these crimes on the victims. I went through at length in reviewing all of those victim impact statements. I certainly didn't go through every single one, just highlighting some of them, but doing so with purpose, because it is very clear to this court that Mr. Brooks has caused carnage, mayhem. It has resulted in many people suffering from PTSD.
No, she's addressing her.
This is for sentencing.
Yeah, this is for sentencing. She's setting up sentencing here. That's what she's doing. Yeah, she's already handled all this. But yeah, this is sentencing here. These are her statements before she sentenced him. So yeah, she's getting ready to do so.
From mental and emotional trauma that will take a lifetime to recover from, and for some, perhaps, if at all. You have taken away from these individuals future memories. They will never have birthdays with the 6 individuals who were killed. There will be no weddings. There will be no graduations. There will be none of the milestones that these families were looking forward to, whether it be for an innocent 8-year-old or an innocent 79-year-old. Frankly, Mr. Brooks, no one is safe from you. This community can only be safe if you are behind bars for the rest of your life. The actions of Darrell Brooks demand punishment. The community is not safe from your violent and criminal conduct unless you are in custody. You left a path of destruction, chaos, death, injury, confusion, and panic as you drove 7 or so blocks through the Christmas parade, never once stopping or seemingly caring about the wake of carnage that you left. 4 of those blocks were turned into a scene that frankly is no different than a war zone. On counts 1 through 6, this court is imposing a life sentence without the possibility or eligibility for extended supervision consecutive to one another. 1 life sentence for Virginia Sorensen. 1 life sentence for Leanna Owen. 1 life sentence for Tamara Durand. 1 life sentence for Jane Kulik. 1 life sentence for Bill Hospel. And 1 life sentence for Jackson Sparks. I've considered the enhancer and the additional 5 years that I could impose, but I don't need to really order that because I've not made him eligible for extended supervision, and it would only be to increase his time on initial confinement. But make no mistake, Mr. Brooks, you use that vehicle as a battering ram, no different than, frankly, a firearm. On counts 7 through 67, these are 61 counts of first-degree recklessly endangering safety. These charges alone and these convictions without the enhancer carry a maximum of 12.5 years. Because of the enhancer, a total of 17.5 years. And under Wisconsin law, the 5 years is added to the initial term of confinement. So what could be 7.5 years is a maximum of 12.5 years. And I'd ask that everyone no longer show any reaction to the sentence so I can get through this. On counts 7 through 67, on each count, I will impose a total sentence of 17.5 years. 12.5 years of initial confinement, plus 5 years of extended supervision, consecutive to any other sentence that I've imposed here today. That is 762.5 years of initial confinement and 305 years of extended supervision on top of the life sentences that I've imposed.
So there you go. 762 years of prison time on top of his 6 life sentences. Now, on the other hand, you have to remember he's already served a year in prison. All right, so she's going to give him time served on count 1, I believe, which is the life sentence. Welcome to prison, Daryl Brooks. Way to piss off the judge. I wish he could serve all that time. No, he's already having a fun time in prison. I assure you that. He's been moved to another jail. He had to go from Wisconsin to Colorado because he was SA'd. He had his teeth knocked out. He was beaten up brutally, from what I understand, and now housed in Colorado. How well will this go for him? Probably not great. But yeah, Joe Brooks, he gets what he deserves. Not only that, but now that his appeal has been denied, welcome to G-Pop shortly soon. Welcome to G-Pop in just a short amount of time. It'll be amazing. I mean, sort of. I mean, for him. I mean, yeah.
That is 17 and a half years, sir, for Nicole White. 17 and a half years for Eleanor Anders, excuse me. 17 and a half years for Sasha Catalan Castillo. 17 and a half years for Maura Gilchrist. 17 and a half years for Justin Gullickson. 17 and a half years for Harry Guilfoyle. 17 and a half years for Aiden Lofgren. 17 and a half years for Theo Maza. 17 and a half years for Tyler Pudliner. 17 and a half years for Connor Tank. 17 and a half years for Eric Teagues. 17 and a half years for Adelia Mathioli. 17 and a half years for Kelly Graybow. 17 and a half years for Josh Craner. 17 and a half years for Riley Rogers. 17 and a half years for Caden Rogers. 17 and a half years for Tucker Sparks. 17 and a half years for Isabella Bartlett. 17 and a half years for Yaritzi Becerra Montez. 17 and a half years for Samantha Coelho. 17 and a half years for Madison Hollingsworth. 17 and a half years for Mackenzie Hollingsworth. 17 and a half years for Mitchell Lampine. 17 and a half years for Kathleen Pielmeyer. 17 and a half years for Julia Schleichow. 17 and a half years for Olivia Stover. 17 and a half years for Jennifer Stover. 17 and a half years for Jesselyn Torres. 17 and a half years for Alice Urell. 17 and a half years for Charlotte Urell. 17 and a half years for Vivian Urell. 17 and a half years for Grayson Urell. 17 and a half years for Lola Hospital. 17 and a half years for Tamara Rosentrader. 17 and a half years for Betty Strang. 17 and a half years for Maria Alvarez Dominguez. 17 and a half years for Gregoria Romelia Perez. 17 and a half years for Elliot Hallmark. 17 and a half years for Benjamin Hallmark. 17 and a half years for Patrick Heppy. 17 and a half years for Lori Locken. 17 and a half years for Marisol Lopez Gutierrez. 17 and a half years for Adair Lopez Robillard. 17 and a half years for Juan Marquez. 17 and a half years for David Marquez. 17 and a half years for William Mitchell. 17 and a half years for Jason Petchloff. 17 and a half years for Margaret Pachulis. 17 and a half years for Yamilet Perales Alvarez. 17 and a half years for Island Perales Alvarez. 17 and a half years for Ashley Perales Alvarez. 17 and a half years for Jose Perales Alvarez. 17 and a half years for Maria Perez. 17 and a half years for Camila Perez Gonzalez. 17 and a half years for Isaac Foglia. 17 and a half years for Deborah Ramirez. 17 and a half years for Charles Green. 17 and a half years for Lily Green. 17 and a half years for Brinley Harris. 17 and a half years for Kelsey Knapp, 17 and a half years for Owen Briciotti. On counts 68 through 73, which are the 6 counts of hit and run resulting in death, these are 25-year felonies each. The court will do the following. On count 68, a 25-year total sentence, 15 years of initial confinement, 10 years of extended supervision. This will be concurrent to count 1. Count 69, the same sentence, 25 years total, 15 years of initial confinement, 10 years of extended supervision, concurrent to count 2. Did I say that the right way, the first one? Okay. Count 68 is concurrent to count 1. Count 69 is concurrent to count 2. Count 70, 25 years total, 15 years of initial confinement, 10 years of extended supervision, concurrent to count 3. Count 71, 25 years total, 15 years of initial confinement, 10 years of extended supervision, concurrent to count 4. Count 72, 25-year total, 15 years of initial confinement, 10 years of extended supervision, concurrent to count 5. And on count 73, a 25-year total sentence, 15 years of initial confinement, 10 years of extended supervision, concurrent to count 6. On count 74 and 75, the 2 felony counts of bail jumping, the court is ordering a 6-year sentence total on each count, 3 years of initial confinement, 3 years of extended supervision, consecutive to all other counts, but concurrent with one another. And lastly, but certainly not least, the maximum sentence for the battery to Erica Patterson, 9 months consecutive to any other sentence. To order anything other than what I have done, sir, would be to unduly depreciate the seriousness of these offenses, which it is needed, although largely symbolic, given the number of years that I have imposed here today, because frankly, you deserve it.
Ooh.
I know it's symbolic,
Man.
but it needs to hold you accountable in a very real and tangible way. For all of these sentences that I have imposed, I will order the following conditions: no contact with the victims as identified in the amended victim key or their families, no contact of any kind with Erica Patterson. You are to pay restitution in the amount of $47,193.29 to EMC Insurance Company, that's on behalf of the Waukesha School District, and $124,000, $220.65 to the Crime Victim Compensation Program. I am ordering DNA surcharges on all counts. On counts 1 through 75, it's $250. On count 76, it's $200. Those are mandatory under the law. I'm also imposing the domestic abuse surcharge on count 76 of $100. I'm also imposing all standard court costs on all counts. Although my primary emphasis is that restitution be paid before costs, surcharges, and fees. Sir, you have been convicted of a felony. That means you may not vote in any election until your civil rights are restored. You may not possess a firearm. You may not possess body armor. Both of those are punishable as felonies. You also have 20 days from today's date. Objection signed. That objection is noted
Why do you
for the
keep
record.
skipping it?
This now concludes this hearing and this case. We are now off the record.
Do you want to do the motion to stay pending appeal, or we can do it
I
another
want to
day?
wait till I sign the judgment of conviction. Not making any determinations regarding where he is to be held. That certainly is within the, once the judgment of conviction is signed, I'll address the motion for stay pending appeal. But my understanding is he needs to be transported to Milwaukee, and I will not stand in the way of that. All right, I'll schedule that once the judgment of conviction is signed.
Understood.
We are in
Thank you.
recess. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
And now you see this scumbag getting taken out. He's done. You know, welcome to the show, DB. Yeah, welcome to the show. All right, sorry, Ketchup. Sorry, I know I fast forwarded a little bit, but yeah, it was just it was just she was just reading over some of the preliminaries. It wasn't anything that we were missing.
Uh-huh.
Still there?
Yeah. I'm still here.
Yeah. Yeah, you didn't miss anything. No, she was just reading over preliminaries, things like that.
Well, that's easy for you to say. You watched this trial like 4 to 5 times already.
I know, but no, seriously, it was you didn't miss anything. I hopped forward just to get to. I mean, she read through everything, 17 and a half years for every single person, and then I accidentally muted myself. But no, 17 and a half years for 62 individuals plus 6 life sentences. All right, plus the additional enhancers and whatnot. It'll be a good time, DB. It'll be a good time. You're gonna have fun. But by the way, you do know that this isn't the only parade attack that we've had, right?
What?
Oh, I'm gonna share this one real quickly. I'll send you over to Coop. But do you guys remember this dude? I can't play volume here because he has a sound on. But do you remember this dude? He also ran through a freaking parade. I think he got 4 years in prison, if I'm not mistaken. All right. Hang on. There's not music in this first section here.
Oh my God! With the fucking train. Huh? I'm stuck on the fucking freeways all over the place. They got it all blocked off. The Lloyd Center exit, the Convention Center exit, every motherfucking exit. You bum. Yeah.
Did you see this one, Ketchup?
No.
No, just watch. I gotta mute it because he's gonna turn his stereo on. He's upset because traffic is heavy, and all of the I don't know. He can't get off the exits. They're all blocked because of a parade. So he does this. Here he goes. No one gets hurt in this one. No one gets hurt. It's okay, folks.
What the hell?
Oh, yeah. He needs to get home. He needs to get home, chump chump. I believe he's doing 4 years.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, parade. Oh, wait. He just realized he's on a parade. Well, no, that's okay. Well, we'll just carry on.
Oh my God.
Everyone's diving out of the way.
Why didn't he stop?
Oh, well, the police will help. Don't worry.
Oh, let me guess. This is further on the parade.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, he tells the police, he's like, I'm looking for a way out, you bastards. Then he speeds on.
Stop, dummy. Oh my God. Oh.
Weren't there people sitting
They dove out of the way.
there? Oh my god, I can't believe he only got 4 years.
I
Because
can't.
this is
confirm
not
that.
only reckless endangerment, but it's fleeing.
I can't confirm 4 years. I'm sorry. I'd have to look that up. I don't know for sure.
What an absolute fucktard.
Oh, just wait. It gets worse.
How can it get any worse?
Oh, right here.
Oh,
The cop's right there.
what do you think? That must be for the other person. What an idiot. He just needs to go the wrong way down a one way, and this will be a trifecta of stupid.
I think he does. Now, this is how you affect a parade without killing anybody. See, it's pretty good.
He came very close to hitting people.
Well, yeah.
More than one time. Oh my god, now he's going back into the parade?
Yep. Round 2.
Shut up. You're done, dude. They already have your license plate. Like, you're done. There's no point in going home now.
Bear in mind, he's playing music at this time.
Jesus.
He turned his stereo on for a little relax time.
Is he looking for a place to hide now, or what?
The helicopter's overhead, trust me.
Oh, Jesus.
I could pull up that too, but I'm sending you the Coop. You can see he keeps checking the rear view to see if there's a cop on his tail. Vaping.
Well, if I was going to prison like him, I would be too, probably.
Paint chips.
See, stuff like this makes me wonder how this guy got through life.
I don't know. He has a really nice house, actually.
Without already being in some serious shit.
Yeah, no, he actually has a really nice house. He seemed to be well to do.
He clearly has an anger management problem. What happened? They put another video over it now?
Yeah, well, this is the end of it.
Yeah.
He shut the dash cam off at that point. But, well, there you go. See? We've had other parade attacks. This one, everyone survived. It was a good deal. I mean, within reason.
Unreal.
Well, I hope you had a fun time. Thank you for coming in. Hit the like and subscribe and send it all over to Mr. Coop. Have a good time. Thank you, all of my friends. I appreciate you being here. Thank you for the likes, subscribes. Thank you for the shares and mojo. I appreciate the gift of membership, super chats, and everything else. We appreciate you. I'll see you back tomorrow, where we will cover the flea bags and probably give you a flea cap, is my guess. Have a great day, everybody. And as we always say over here, Chop Chop,
All the best.
shut your
Bye.
ass. I mean, all the best.